Hey guys, what's up? We're here with Michelle Hampton and why she rides road. We're going ahead and gonna roll her intro, and then we'll be interviewing her tonight. So get ready with your questions. Here's her video.
Cookies. What do we got?
Sure, anytime. We've got breakfast bars. We've got snack bars. We've got sure.
Oh, look at them snickerdoodles.
There we have it. So opening up her home, leading routes. Michelle kind of does it all. And we're interviewing her today on what it's like for her to ride road. So being a super secret agent that you are, can you tell us how old you are?
Ooh, wow. That's a secret question. You would actually ask a woman that question? Sure, I'm 56. In fact, 56 in what? Maybe almost a half year.
Well, I think I'm qualified to ask the question because I'm a psychologist.
Funny.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your cycling story.
Wow. Well, since I'm so old, it actually started, I won't go back to the tricycle days, but back in, is it 78 or 79 when the movie Breaking Away came out? If you guys are too young to know what that is, go watch it anyway. I'm sorry, it's not in high definition. Great cycling movie, and I was hooked. I was a little bit of a penny pincher at the time, so I saved every dime, every dollar I ever made. So I had $350. He has a kid in junior high kid in 79. That was a lot of money. I actually went out immediately and bought an SR Semi-Pro, a Japanese bike. And I'll tell you, for the time, that was a pretty high-end bike. My tires were teeny tiny, like 23s. I kept them at 100-pound pressure. And I weighed all of about 115 pounds at the time. That's how it started. So, and I was home with the kids for 9 years, biked through that. It was mainly mountain biking at the time. While I was home, I would go out and bike in the morning. I had a steel Bontrager mountain bike, big old heavy mountain bike. I would bike from Grand Terrace where we lived up Box Springs, up to the top once a month to the very peak where the towers are. I would bike up to the park almost every day and then have to book it back home before Mike went off to work because someone had to be home with the toddlers. I also did a lot of running, but when I went back to work, we were just so busy with the kids. I still biked a bit on the weekends, ran on the weekends, but being family, being a working woman with a family, it really didn't explode until the boys hit college. And then Mike and I started biking the two of us on Saturday. It was really the first time that he and I biked together. And I remember the first time we hit 30 miles, 35 miles even. That was our max. And that was terrifying. From our house in Woodcrest down to the Sart, way out to the end of the Sart in Redlands on Waterman and back home. That was an insane bike ride for us at the time, which is funny now. So
yeah. And how did you start with RBC? Because you mentioned Saturday and you had an experience on like your first Saturday RBC ride, right?
Right. So Mike, let's see, during the school year, I was advising mock trial. I've been doing that for 12 years. And I'm busy on Tuesday, Thursday nights with the mock trial team. Our son's an attorney. He's been our coach forever. And Mike was like, well, screw that. I'm out of here. So he found RBC night rides. He went out on a night ride, came back and told me how dark and scary and fast and terrifying it was and how I would hate it. And I was like, oh my gosh, you should never do it. And for months, he would tell me these horror stories about, oh my gosh, like someone's going to die. Like, oh my gosh. Well, when the time changed, I jumped in with Wilson's group. And then by the spring, I had jumped in with Mike's group. So that's how the night ride started for me. But my first Saturday ride was just a month after Mike started on the night rides. It was a Saturday Redlands Olive Market ride because we did that every Saturday for years. There were only 7 people, Mike and I included. So there were 5 others. I know Greg Jones was on that ride. And I believe Kurt and Alan were on that initial ride. And Sam Crawford was on that ride. And they took off. And we were not clipped in. We had cheap road bikes at the time. And we were not fast. So we got dropped. And Sam hung with us. And all the way out to Redlands and all the way back, I kept saying, I can't do this. Can't do this. Nope, I can't ride with these guys. These guys are too fast. And Sam Crawford kept telling me, don't worry about it. There's lots of women that do it. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll get faster. And the only reason I came back next Saturday was because of Sam Crawford. Had he not stayed with us, not kept telling me to keep doing it, I would not have come back. So,
and you guys hear that, right? So, like route leading, when you guys are hanging out with a route leader, if you think about your first really good experience, or maybe the reason why you still ride, it's probably because you have a good route leader. Make sure you let them know. With all this division, with all the separations, with people dealing with depression and everything, a route leader can make a huge difference. And that could be the difference like Michelle, where she would have stopped riding years ago, not been able to experience connecting with so many people, and having, great fitness gains and everything else. And it's all down to just one route leader. And Sam Crawford was a good guy. We miss him. And somebody waving. Hello, wave.
And thank you, Helen. I have a couple of people that I want to be exactly like when I grow up. So thank you for that. I see that.
All right, time to put up some pictures. So you ride with the Tuesday, Thursday night crew. That's how I met you, in fact, riding with that crazy Tuesday, Thursday night crew. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, and that's from just a couple, I think that was from last week or a couple nights ago. That is from Tuesday night. That's a brand new photo. So I've been riding the night crew for 6 years, pretty much every Tuesday and every Thursday, unless there's some reason why I can't. Rainstorms, snow, sleet, some local fire, something like that. Otherwise, even in the icy cold, I'm there. And this is photographs is just from a couple weeks ago. The night crew is awesome. And we have great numbers in the A-B group. Now, the night crew, we're combining A and B. Which means the A's are compromising their speed. They're not racing off and leaving us in the dirt. And the B's were having to work hard, which is a great workout for us. I did start with the time change, which was really smart because it gave me many, many months to get used to the shortening ride. And also we were very well lit up. And honestly, I think the cars are far more terrified of us at night because we look like a gigantic school bus and we're well lit and they see us. Now, during the day, when I'm riding by myself, I always feel like nobody sees me. Like the cars, I have to assume that the cars are out to get me. They don't know I'm there. But on the night rides, I feel like they see us with all of the bright lights.
Oh, look at that. Michelle Hampton's friendly attitude was one of the main reasons I came back again and again for the night rides for the first 2 years out here, even though she made fun of my big computer. Sounds like Tracy. Yeah. So, and Tuesday, Thursdays, for those of you guys who are watching, they have a really good list. I wrote some of them, but I didn't write all of them. And a lot of them, some of those rides are almost 20 years old. They're passed down to generations. Some of them were given to me. I made some changes. And now Michelle and Christopher Gate, shout out to him too for helping lead that and organize that. It's a really great ride, and everybody has their preference. I prefer riding at night. I ride both day and night, but I really, really like it. And you guys have some amazing. Crown Town is such a cool ride, and being able to overlook the city and some of the really cool views there too.
And we have some new routes that you've never done, Andrew. And Miguel Montes has made a few different new routes for us. Some really nice routes. So switching it up sometimes you got to retire some of the old routes and reinvent new routes.
That's a good, and I saw one of them. I wanted to do it and I was like, I missed that one. All right. So you also lead, and she made me change this slide here. So you lead Saturday, which is combined A-B, right? So again, like you said, there's that compromise where the A's are pulling it down a little bit. The B's are having to push a little bit harder. And then Sunday mornings, there's a full split. There's an A group, and then you lead that B group, right? You want to say anything about that crew?
I guess just that, I don't even want to say I like lead these groups because honestly, these groups are so easy to lead. I post the routes. I'm the route poster. So this is a photograph. I think it's about a month ago. That's a Saturday ride. So the Olive Market Redlands route, I'm going to fake some data because I wasn't around. I believe that route is about 15 years old. I mean, I had asked some people who had always been around. It's an old route and we all have it memorized. And I remember when Mike and I came out that very first ride, they had just made a new change coming back after Olive Market. Rather than turning right and going down to Barton, we were turning left to go up through the hilly neighborhood, which we all know as Hulda, the holdover when you're going over by Hulda Crooks. And we've been doing it that way forever since then. I rode that probably 300 times. And after a few years, the ridership started dropping off and people were complaining. It's like, no, same thing, same old route. And so I created a new route and I said, well, let's try this. And we went over to, it was Restoration Roasters at the time over in Corona. And then I created another route and then another route. And I don't know, we rotate maybe 8 or 9 different routes on Saturdays, which suddenly meant that someone had to start posting routes. So I create the routes, I post the routes. I don't know. I don't like being called the right leader, but what else are you going to call it? I guess someone has to say, okay, we're rolling. That's it. The great thing about all of the rides, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, they're all great people. We're all friends and we all cooperate, we all collaborate, and we all lead each other. So we all look out for each other. We all lead each other.
No, that's good.
So it's not like anyone's the boss. No one's the boss.
Right. It's like a big dysfunctional family and like herding cats sometimes, trying to get them dudes to all go the same direction. No, that's good. And Eric Lewis, I see your comment, but I'm not bringing it up yet because you jumped the gun. We're going to get to that.
Thank you, Eric. Good question. We'll get to it.
How is it to be one of the fast ladies? So before you answer, I'll brag for you. Okay. So Michelle, right? She's already mentioned she's in her 50s. When I did the ridership, now this is memberships. This is not female riders. It's less than 27%. Where Michelle is sitting at speed wise is probably an under 1%. Now Tuesday nights, are a exception to the rule too, where we have 3 of the power ladies, the 3 fastest power ladies, all within one ride. And that may be largely due to you, pushing everybody to go faster.
Oh, that's not me.
So fast ladies. Well, now we have, because I remember when it was just you, and I think you and Tracy, kind of doing that thing where both of you guys increased in your speeds. And then Feline came in. I hope I said her name right.
Oh, yes, perfect.
So now we're seeing that, kind of grow. And what we'd like to see is more ladies understanding that, yeah, you can progress. We're going to get to that. I'm jumping ahead too. That's the next thing. You can progress and get faster. So you are one of the fast ladies, whether or not you want to admit it. How does that feel? What do you feel about that? Anything comment on that?
Yeah, I like riding with the guys. I remember someone years ago on a Sunday ride with the A group. Someone looked back and I don't know, made a comment. I don't remember it. And I remember Dan Bartlett turned around and said, "Oh, her? Nah, she's just one of the guys." And I thought that was funny because honestly, if you're going to be one of those fast ladies and ride with these group, you kind of just have to become one of the guys. So I have always been like one of the guys. On the night rides, I have Feline and Tracy to hang out with. So there's 3 of us fast ladies. Feline is new to the group. She is a powerhouse. Oh my gosh. When I hit a hill, I can't breathe. I have teeny tiny little lungs. That woman, she races up those hills. It's like, bye, Feline. I'll see you when I get there. And there are fewer ladies on the weekend rides. Feline comes out on Saturdays. Tracy's out riding her Saturday rides with David and that group. So we're still definitely riding, but in the A and B group, there's a lack of women. And I would love to see more women. I mean, hey, I'm just one of the guys. It's all good. It's all good. I can blow snot like the rest of them, but I kind of like to see some women out there too. The C group, I'm jealous of the C group because that's where all my women are hanging out. So, but hey, there it is.
All right, so
by the way, the speed for me, I'm not strong and I do not have, I know, although I've never had my blood tested, but I know that I'm low in testosterone for women, for the average woman. If I don't bike, my muscles melt immediately and I have tiny lungs and small lung capacity. And I can prove that with one of those hospital things. Yeah, I have very small lung capacity. I'm fast only because I'm super skinny. Though I try to gain weight, it doesn't work. And I have thin bones. I have bird bones. And so that makes me light. So that increases my power to weight ratio. I cheat. Yeah, look at me. I'm like anorexic, but I've been this way my entire life. There's no fixing it. I thought menopause would fix that. Hello, ladies. I said the word, the big M word. Yep. I thought 4 years. You think I'd gain a pound? Nope. I've lost 2 pounds. Lost 2 pounds. It was like, it has not helped me at all. I would love to gain 5-10 pounds, even though knowing that would slow me down on the bike. No, it's just power to weight ratio. That's it. And I have no control over the weight. None at all.
And there may be something for those of you guys watching. She does ride 4 times a week. That may have a little something to do with it too. So if you stay consistent, you can progress in speed. We're seeing some of that, and we're just wanting to continue encouraging, especially you ladies in the C group. You get to A, B if you want to. All right. So what would you tell women progressing up in groups? And now we'll get to Eric's question as he has been so patient.
Yeah. And Rashad, I see your comment in there. You guys are hilarious. I remember that, Rashad. Women progressing up, that first ride, I didn't ride with the C group. I rode with Mike and Sam and Greg and Kurt and Alan and I was not in the C group. And I'll tell you, I was stressed every Saturday for a year. Every Saturday morning, I would get up, I would get butterflies in my stomach because I was trying to ride with a group that I wasn't ready for. It was hard. Doing the night ride starting in March, that helped. What made the biggest difference for me was when I added Sunday in June. I added Sunday. So suddenly in June, having started with RBC in September, I was up to 4 days a week. And I exploded that first summer because I was suddenly riding 140 miles a week with RBC. And by the end of the first year, the stress on Saturdays was going away. I mean, it was still hard. Shoot, the night rides are still hard. All these rides are hard.
But you get more comfortable.
But I mean, the butterflies in my stomach, like we get in the car, we're driving over to Canyon Crest. I'm like, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. It was hard. But progressing, if you stick with it and you get the miles in, you can progress. And one thing I would want to say to all women wanting to progress, women and men, this is true for all new cyclists. When you move up from the D to the C, and from the C up to the B, and from the B up to the A, it's hard. And it is hard for a number of reasons. One, there's a big change in the biology. We all know that. And then two, because there's a change in the biology, there's a change in the speed. We know that. And because there's a change in the speed, there's also a change in the safety, the risk of crashing, the type of crash, and also the skills that you need in order to ride with that group at that pace. And those changes from the biology to the speed to the skills and the safety issues, that's going to change the culture. So the hard thing about making the jump to the next group, it's hard for all of those reasons. I think I named 5 different reasons. It's hard for all of those reasons, but stick with it. Stick with it. And maybe in the beginning, hang in the back of the group. Definitely hang in the back of the group, especially if you don't have that pace line dialed in. If you're a little squirrely, if you need to really offset, if you're on the night ride and you have vision issues, stay in the back, stay offset so that you feel like you can see, and stick with it.
Okay, so I'm going to start getting to some of these comments. So Eric Lewis had, what's the biggest deterrent you hear from riding from other women riders? Do you think maybe you touched on that? Maybe it's fear?
Fear of getting dropped. I think that's a big one. It's one thing for a man to be dropped. It's different. It's different for a woman to be dropped. It's one thing for a man to be dropped in the day, and it's different for a woman, but that is even far more different. We all know why, for a woman to be dropped on a night ride. So, and of course, as a group, we're going to be more protective of a woman. We just have to understand that is different. So fear of being dropped, I have a degree in biology. It's basic biology. It's the biological difference between men and women. They're vast. And when we ride in these groups, we're riding with men, and men are faster than women. Hey, can't deny the biology. And it's a tough sport. And it's a tough sport for anyone, because if you're out for a reason, an injury, vacation, whatever, coming back, you're going to get dropped by your friends. And it can be hard to come back simply because it's the type of sport where you're not in a racquetball court and you're losing because you forgot how to play racquetball. Your friends are leaving you and they're gone physically. And it might be weeks before you're able to even hang and socialize with your friends in this activity. So cycling, for a lot of those reasons, is hard. And it is uniquely more difficult for women. And the men don't, I'm sure the men sort of understand what that means. I think us women really understand. It's different because we're women.
Yeah. Jay, longtime listener, first time caller. I'm a big fan of Michelle. You're perfectly and wonderfully made, girl. Get it, girl. Yeah, Jay. So, and then I'd be happy to donate some pounds to you, Michelle.
Oh, hand them over, Marianne. I'm trying. I'm done 4 years into menopause. I've lost consistently 2 solid pounds. I've tried to get them back. I can't. I give up. I'm good.
Yeah, I know there's some envy out there. It's okay, ladies.
And Helen, C group ladies, they rock. You're right. They do.
RBC, great people, great rides. Thanks, Michelle. Always great leader. Better not let Michael see that comment. She only has 1 L, which I found out doing this interview because Michelle never corrected me. Michael did. I'm just trying to steal some of your Strava grounds. That's got to be true.
Go for it.
Ooh, another hand clap. So, and Hampty Hamp, I don't know. Maybe that's a Hampty Hamp.
Oh, I know who that is. Yeah, Hampty Hamp. Mm-hmm. We all know that's a night ride joke. We have yet to define what the Hampty Hamp is, but it is whatever you're doing at the time. That's called the Hampty Hamp.
That's good to know. I'll put down in my diary. All right. So, how do you balance risk and cycling?
Risk in cycling. Gosh, is there another sport out there that's more dangerous than cycling? I mean, go figure. When I had my crash a year and a half ago, 11 days later, I was talking to the orthopedic surgeon. Uh, I mean, the bill in the hospital is $120,000. So it was a pretty serious crash. And I think from his perspective, I was a middle-aged woman who hit a dog and fell over on her bike. And I was trying to convince him that the worst damage was not the collapsed lung and the broken ribs and the dislocated clavicle. It wasn't any of those injuries. It was the soft tissue damage in my shoulder.
Mm.
And he said, "Oh, can you raise your arm?" And I went like that, and it hurt, and it hurt. He's like, "You're fine." I was like, "I have rotator cuff damage, and that's lifelong. So how do I balance risk in cycling? Cycling is an addiction. So when I bike, it keeps me physically healthy. When I bike, it sprays my brain with endorphins. Like I ran for decades. I ran cross country in high school. I ran out of sheer discipline. Never had a running high, but I kind of live on cycling highs. So cycling is addiction. I can't get that out of my blood. I mean, when I bought that SR Semi-Pro back in 1979, I just started zipping from my house in the wood streets all the way out to La Sierra and Victoria and back by myself as a kid, junior high kid. And the risk, yeah, it's dangerous. It's dangerous, and I don't know. The body needs what the body needs. There's health, and there's so many dangers, especially with COVID. I'm in the classroom. I probably had 12 students out with COVID today, just today alone. So now's a good time to be healthy. So I weigh my osteoporosis. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, hello. I've been diagnosed for a year now with osteoporosis. Yeah, bird bones. I look at my osteoporosis. I look at my aging body, and I want to stay healthy, but I also need to be mentally healthy. And cycling during the distance learning I had to do with my students last year during the pandemic and COVID, it kept me going. It kept me going. So the risk is there. And yeah, we all know, we see our friends getting injured on the bike. But for now, at this point in my life, I have to choose the health that the bike is bringing me. The social health, the mental health, and the physical health.
And being completely transparent too, me and Michelle had talked about this and talking about it on this public forum. And I want to make sure that we're being honest, we're being transparent, and we're putting everything out there. And the reality is cycling is one of the few things it's so socially driven. Road cycling is what we're talking about today. It creates such a sense of community. You have fitness, you get to explore your city. If you haven't ridden, especially with these groups, you really do get to see parts of the city you've never seen before, even if you're like me and you've been living here your whole life. It completely opened up the city for me. And there's things you guys need to consider as far as being safe. And the other thing is, once you do a cycling discipline, we have more options, cooler equipment than we've ever had. And then I don't know if Mark is watching or commenting, but I know, he's been all kinds of physical injuries and stuff like that, where he even moved to a trike. So you even have that, and a whole bunch of different things. Mm-hmm. We got some comments to get to. So Eric wanted to know how long it took you to get back to form after your dog encounter, because it didn't seem like it took that long.
No, it didn't. I got back on the bike too soon. I did. It was 6 weeks. So punctured lungs, 3 broken ribs. A collapse, one collapsed lung, dislocated clavicle, torn ligaments off the sternum, and that's a permanent dislocation. And then the rotator cuff, which is hey, it's damaged. What are you going to do? 6 weeks. I was leading the A group at the time, the Sunday A group, and those guys are awesome. Oh my gosh, talk about endorphins in the brain. You ride with those guys. You let them pull you around town. Yeah, that's a great trip. But there's no way I could ride with them without quickly jumping back on the bike. So I do remember the first day back on the bike, I felt my right shoulder, because I landed on my right scapula when I hit that damn dog. I felt weak in my right shoulder, and I felt weak at the sternum clavicle junction, and it felt weak. And my upper quadrant of my right lung ached. Only on the Sunday rides, every Sunday ride for a month. The upper half of my right lung, only the right lung. Now, if that was because the collapsed lung needs time to heal, I don't know. If it was the ribs were still poking the lung, I don't know. But man, now the night rides, Saturday rides, my lung was fine. The Sunday rides, that was different. That was different. Anyway, 6 weeks back, Eric. There you go. I had to. I could not. My muscles melt. You men, you can take 6 weeks off, jump back on the bike, you're fine. No. Yeah, you have no idea what it's like to live without testosterone. My muscles would have melted, so I had to get back on, and I did.
Right. I don't have any idea what it's like with
you. Have no idea.
I had some Michelle and I are the same in age, and we prove that age is just a number. Us ladies are as strong as ever. And yeah, Tracy, you've been kicking butt, girl. Your progress.
Tracy's a beast. Tracy's a beast. Yep.
Huge progress.
Yep. Absolutely.
Marianne, very well said, Michelle. Helen, cycling definitely keeps us healthy mentally and physically. Amen.
Yep. Amen.
Go, Tracy, go. Agreeing with Tracy. 56 is the coolest age currently. Eric is also 56.
Hey, 56 going on 46, right? There you go. It's a good age.
Dude, Eric, I don't know if you saw, but I was talking about having a hard time keeping up with you, and I'm 41. So, all right. So that brings us to, got some picks to bring up. What do you find inspiring about riding?
I find people inspiring about riding. I get to ride with my husband and Luke. That's my son Luke down there. He joined us probably a couple maybe 3 years ago. He started biking with us. He's been busy this last year, has a new job. He's got a new fiance, so that's kind of taken time out of his cycling, but he's trying to come back. He rode with us Sunday. Inspiring people, honestly, people. I mean, biologically, honestly, I think a lot of it is the endorphins, the cycling high that running never gave. But it's the people on the night rides. God, I love that crowd. The people on the Saturday rides, and most of the Saturday people I ride with, they're there on Sundays. So the weekend crowd, there's overlap with the night crowd, but there's also unique crowds. There's some people that only ride with me on the weekends, and there's some that only ride with me on the night rides.
Yeah.
And yet they're all my friends. So, hey, again, just one of the guys, right? So, and I think that the cool thing is sex really doesn't matter. The women and the men, you can be really good friends with all sorts of different people. The age doesn't matter. I ride with the old guys. I mean, Bill and Kurt, those are pretty old guys. And we ride with the kids. Feline's a kid. Christian's still a kid, although I've watched that kid grow up. And race. Look at the races of RBC. We are very colorful as a group. So, and socioeconomics, jobs, we come from all walks of life, and they're all my brothers and my sisters. And that's it. I find that inspiring.
Yeah. I think that's one of the coolest things, especially about road, is the dynamics are so incredible that when you look around, there's like a ton of people that you get pretty close with in riding that you never would have met any other way. To your left is a doctor. To your right is, an accountant and a CEO, a small business owner. Like, you have all these things and all these different perspectives and all these cool routes. And so I pitched just a reminder for everybody. Riverside Bicycle Club, the board pays for you guys to have access to our route library, and that's right now just a benefit to the community. If you go in there, we accept you, and then you get all those routes. So a lot of the routes we're talking about, if you're a little bit fearful and you want to try one out on your own first, then go ahead and do that. But the community, cycling, unlike running or any other sport that I can think of, you can't draft. And that experience is one of the coolest ones, where Michelle talks about being pulled around. You're doing 20% less work when you're drafting behind somebody, and it feels like they're literally pulling you. That is one of the coolest experiences since competitive. I swam competitively and I did water polo competitively. that you had to work as a team to accomplish any of those things. Cycling, I think, ups that game in that you can bring any bike. My buddy had like a 1989 Scott Centurion that he still had some of his fastest Strava times on. Frame shifting destroyed his knees, but he could ride it. And it was being able to connect with people and draft and do that kind of fun stuff.
One other thing about cycling, we all know this to be true. It is a dangerous sport and things happen. And so we're very protective of each other. Flats, mechanicals, crashes. I mean, I hate to say it, but I've witnessed too many crashes where we have to call an ambulance and we're hanging out and we're taking care of, broken bikes. And it's like, okay, who's going to run back and get the car and pick up this broken bike, and who's calling whose spouse? And yeah, we take care of each other on the road. We do. We're family.
Yeah. And that's another thing that I think that's really good. If you ride mainly solo, you need to be careful. One of the really great things about riding with a club is that you're not solo. That means if you don't remember a tube, if you don't remember a pump, all those kind of things, which we've all done once or twice, don't do it all the time, because don't be that guy or girl. But you have other people that are covering for you that can call things out and maybe avoid the accident altogether. Things still happen, but at least you have other people around you to be able to help you. And that's really, really cool. And we also have other things. I really want to think into 2022, how we're going to help, the community be exposed to cycling. So that's this Friday. We do the Friday night lights where we put LEDs on our bikes and ride a real easy 8-mile ride downtown. Very, very cool ride. It's in the events tab that you can check out. So is there anything else that you wanted to add? I tried to get Michelle to put her name as the legend, but she took it out.
I'm not a legend. I'd like to advertise Saturday. The AB group is doing a loop out through Lake Forest, and the C group is going to join us on the same route. And I think that's great. So Lake Forest and Irvine, I love biking out there only because, oh my gosh, the asphalt is to die for. Smooth, silky, clean, no glass, no trash, no palm fronds, no potholes, no ripped seams. I love Irvine. So these are all the best roads. So if you want to come hang with us, come give it a try. ABC, jump on in. 60 miles flat-ish, if you look at the route. And a nice coffee break in the middle, or stopping at a bakery.
All the routes have elevation profiles. We try to label the speeds pretty well. Do you have any personal goals for 2022? Good question.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to hit 7,000 miles. That's hard because I teach, I run mock trial season's coming. We vacation, we got family. So it always seems to cut into some of my rides, but I'm about 6,400, 6,500, 7,000. That's my goal.
And for me, I'm going to probably be doing my first bike packing trip with both of my kids. So yeah, pray for me on that one. I'm going to have, my bike weighs 52 pounds without my son on it. And then we'll be putting gear on top of that. So that's going to be a adventure for me for sure. Helen said, see you Saturday. So
I will see you, Helen.
That's a unique thing too, guys. I had pinned that. It's in the featured. Typically we have AB, we have C. It's very rare that you can see an ABC. That means if you are anywhere within that range, you can be within that group and someone will help pick you up so you don't get dropped. Yep. So something to think about there.
Yep.
We got the same miles. Looks like someone else is looking for a.
Yeah. And, they mentioned online that there's a road closure on the freeway, the 91, but Miguel found a quick workaround, get off on, was it Main Street, or got off on Magnolia, back on Main. So just a quick loop in Corona to get down to Yorba Regional Park where we start the ride.
Good job, Miguel.
Thank you, Miguel.
And great beard too. All right. Here we go. Kyle Cooper getting in the mix.
Woo, thank you, Kyle.
After party at the Hamptons. If you guys want cool stuff, follow Kyle's Instagram too. That boy is fast. So, okay, so I think that's it. Do you have any other tips to impart other than to encourage ladies to come out and ride?
Keep riding, keep spinning, keep the legs spinning, and don't let the cold of the winter get you off the bike. Tracy and Felina and I, we bike right through the winter on the cold night rides. I have gotten back to the car when it was as cold as 40 degrees. Actually got in the car, stood around talking, chatting for 10 minutes, got in the car, drove home, and the frost light came on. It was 39 outside. And I was warm that night. You just got to know how to ride. You got to know how to dress. And the most painful part about those nights is the fear of how to dress and standing around the parking lot before you get going. But once you get going, if you're dressed right, it's all good. So
Kyle Cooper, he would say, he's from Michigan. Us Californians don't even know what winter is. What
he's
is
like,
this?
cold? What's cold?
Yeah.
Yep.
We don't even know. All right. Well, I think that wraps us up for today. So until next time, when in doubt, pedal it out.